What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackmine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, what a day defensively. We're talking possible trades of a big name, and I think bigger than that, we all found out exactly who is calling the Pittsburgh Steelers plays on Sundays. A question me, you, and the rest of Steelers Nation has had for some time now. The game is Sunday. The Pittsburgh Steelers get a shot at redemption. Redemption, but not against the Indianapolis Colts, but versus the Indianapolis Colts. We're diving into some bold predictions as well. It's a rainy one here in the Berg. Again, I say it all the time. Those are the most beautiful days. If it's raining on Sunday, you want to know who plays in a dome? The Indianapolis Colts. Sometimes it just works in your favor. How you feel, my friend?
I am feeling good. Everybody can rejoice. My furnace has finally been fixed.
Let's go.
We are, this sweatshirt is just for show. He rips it off. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm feeling great. Very excited. The folks who helped us out were so nice, so quick.
Beautiful.
Love it. So if you hear any background ambient noise, that is just for the first time in over a week, working furnace. I'm doing great, brother.
That is great to hear. You should have came on the show in a tank top and just been like, whoo, sweating today. Just so wetting over here. Glad to hear that the Halloween party on Saturday will be warm.
Heated. Yeah.
Heated. That's always a good one. Very excited. Happy for you. Happy for the family. No longer have to hide. Weren't you guys hiding in the baby room from my understanding? And just,
yeah, we have to hide upstairs for sure.
I'm glad you're good. I'm glad naps on the couch are back. All right, let's talk some Pittsburgh Steelers.
Officially back.
Our good buddy Mark Kaboly shared a little piece of information today during an interview with Terrell Austin, answering the question everybody has had on their minds about who calls the Pittsburgh Steelers plays on Sunday.
Since I've been in this chair, I'm calling it, and if Mike wants to call something, he calls it, and that's how we roll. I mean, that's how it's been.
Mike T. calling the Pittsburgh Steelers plays. Two notes. First one, shout out to Mark Kaboly, who definitely was holding his phone like this the whole time and just could not center that thing at all. Also, a little screen wipe will go a long way, my friend. I'll let him know tomorrow. When it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers and their play caller defensively being revealed, TA says it's him. We have had many conversations about how we do not believe that maybe it is him and how it might be Mike Tomlin. So I'll ask you after he says it straight to our faces, very bluntly. Do you believe that Mike T's that TA is the guy actually calling most of the plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense?
No, I don't. Like, okay, I want to not be too sort of big brain conspiracy theorists here, but the full quote, right? The full quote is he says, "I'm calling it," in reference to the plays. If Mike wants to call something, he calls it, and that's how we roll. That's how it's been. And to be honest, my immediate reaction, my thoughts, as I've had a little bit of time between him saying that and us coming on the show here to talk about it, that sounds a lot like how I talk about how things whenever my wife and I have to make decisions. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, okay, yeah. No, I'm calling it. If Tori needs to step in and make a call sometimes it's going to happen. But, that's just, but I'm calling it. And so, but we know
you're
what
calling
that
it
means.
And run it back. Yeah, you're calling it and running it by her. That's exactly. Yep.
Exactly. I think I might have been making the decision, but she picked the options that I made the decisions from. I think TA might be calling some plays, but I think Mike Tomlin, without a shadow of a doubt, is the one giving him the options of which plays are available to him, what schemes are available to him, what sort of rotation he has at his disposal, the personnel usage, that sort of thing. I think Mike Tomlin dictates that. I think TA has some authority to make some decisions. I don't think it's as that wasn't as confident and as assuring an answer as I certainly would have liked to have heard. I don't know how you took it.
No.
I'm curious, you were hanging out next to the kaboomster while this was going on. What was your immediate reaction in the room? And like, how do you feel after a little bit of reflection?
My immediate answer, or my immediate response as it happened, was, okay, what are you supposed to say here? No? You just is the answer supposed to be, yeah, Mike T calls the plays? No. Two things. First off, that's such a bad look on the Pittsburgh Steelers that their head coach is the guy calling the plays on defense, which I get it happens across the board, but most times you're not in these situations where you're guessing on who's calling the plays and the fans are upset at whoever it is. And there's this constant wear and tear and battle between, oh, it's TA, oh, it's Mike T. That usually doesn't happen across the league. When it comes to his future, he's got to have some understanding that this isn't going to end well for him, that chances are he is on his way out of the Pittsburgh Steelers after this season. And if that's the case, you're telling me it looks good to an employer that you've just spent 5 years as a defensive coordinator and didn't call the plays during them? You were just the show. You were just the face for a defense. No, you want it to be you, because yeah, sometimes it looks bad. Yeah, right now it looks bad, but it hasn't looked bad every single week for the last X amount of years. That hasn't been the case. You're spot on with that. Like, yeah, TA probably does sit there and call the plays and calls most of the plays out of a playbook that Mike Tomlin has developed. And I just feel as if that's almost the same thing. That's almost, yeah, all right, cool. I got to choose to run, whatever, quarter blitz. I'm not a football coach. And that's because I had 4 plays to pick from in this scenario, like Madden gave me. That's what it kind of feels like. It feels like, yes, I believe TA is calling the plays. No, I do not believe that it's TA's defense. I think those are two totally different scenarios. Him saying that, though, does it change your thoughts or mind at all about, the outcome of this defense and how maybe more blame should be put on him? I know that you don't believe that, it's necessarily his defense, but do you think that we should be stacking more blame on him than I think we put?
Well, I think whether it was intentional or not, that sort of response and that taking the blame of, who's calling the defense is kind of setting him up to continue to receive more flack, more criticism, more negative feedback. And I think, honestly, it is the sort of start of a snowball where it just sort of turns into him probably being fired after the season. And you can point to probably this, press conference, this response, whenever he says, like, I am the one who's calling the plays, wink, wink. I think it's going to be, when this team finishes most likely near the bottom of the NFL in total team defense and passing defense, once again, you're going to have to let go your defensive coordinator. And like, this is going to be like the moment where they're like, well, his play calling was not working. Right. But I just don't, I think it is very convenient answering. And I don't think it really gets to the root of what's the problem with the defense. And that is just the fact that they are the richest defense, but performing like the worst. So blame anyone else you want, but like, that's what's going on. And that's what needs to change against the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Like, I think TA has 90% of the blame. I think TA's job is pretty much, over after this, unless some miraculous turnaround happens. But I still don't like, it would have to be years worth of like erase this from your memory turnaround. That's what it would have to be. And that's not going to happen. So I do think that at the end of the year, no matter what, here we are. We already know the fate. I also believe that, just like you said, it doesn't look good. And on top of it all, there's like this underlying, you have a $160-180 million defense and they stink, but who put it together and why do they stink? And it's not all play. You could put great players on the field and call great plays. They still stink. They still are not playing well whatsoever. I think the blame spreads itself out amongst a lot of those guys. Coaching is not going to be the reason whether or not Darius Slay plays well. He's just It's not. At 34 years old, you're not coaching Darius Slay to do anything. You're just telling him where to be. That's what you're doing. And I think that there's a piece of that it cannot be overlooked in where the blame should be. Speaking of Darius Slay, Brooke Pryor of ESPN tossed his name out there as a name to watch at the trade deadline who could be shipped to another team, quoting that the defense has not looked good. It has not shaped up to the expectations this season, and that if there's going to be anybody in Pittsburgh who might be a surprise name to watch right now, it is the 34-year-old Super Bowl winning quarterback. I was not upset about it. I felt like it made a lot of sense. If you're going to trade a lot of these defensive players and pieces, I'm not trading Darius Slay for a 6th round pick just to get him out of here. But if I'm trading and have the option to use a Darius Slay for another opportunity, and then maybe have the understanding that you have to replace him in the process, which I think is very important in this conversation, then I'm kind of very okay with that situation. I'm kind of very okay with the Steelers moving on from Darius Slay to get something else, as long as they are okay with replacing him and finding an option to replace him. Maybe that's Corey Trice. I would like it to be Corey Trice and somebody else. Either way, I'm very open to the conversation. What were your thoughts when you saw that?
I just can't figure out who would have any interest in trading for Darius Slay. Like, as much as I would love, I kind of disagree with you in the sense, if someone wants to give the Steelers a 6th round pick for Darius Slay right now,
You're like, just ship him.
Well, like that is a very unfair trade for whatever team acquires Darius Slay right now. He's just not a very good cornerback on the field. Like, and by his own admission, he said he's been playing decent. Like, it's like that's about as, reassuring as TA's answer about play calling. So like you just don't
Yes.
get a lot of confidence from it. I think if there is some larger than or greater than expected value that you could get for Darius Slay, make the move before the deadline. If you can go your route where you can use them to, in a trade that improves the team, but you then also don't leave yourself shorthanded at the cornerback position, I'm down for that as well. I don't think there's going to be a lot of interest league wide at this point, so I anticipate him being a Steeler post the deadline, but they have to be exploring all of these ways to improve the defense. So if you can make it work, great. If you can get a draft pick for him, even better by my estimate.
I was not expecting you to just be like, ship him out of here, get rid of him, who cares? I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. Like, it's not going to be, if the Steelers traded Darius Slay for a 6th round pick, it's not like I'm sitting here going, I can't believe they just got. Did you see them? Did you see them get fooled the way that they got fooled? No. I think that Darius Slay is worth not a 6th round pick, for a guy that you're going to have for 8 games, who may or may not be good anymore, who might be done and is going to retire at the end of the season. It just, there's a lot going on there. I like the idea of using him as the bottom of the barrel piece to go get something else. If you're going to go get a wide receiver, might as well toss a Darius Slay in there to a team that maybe could use some corner help, for a year. Maybe wants the veteran leadership for 8 weeks or so to just teach the guys that they have in the room. Maybe that's what they're looking for. Maybe a team like the Tennessee Titans could use a guy like Darius Slay for the back half of the season. Maybe a team like the Miami Dolphins, who have 0 quality corners, could look at Darius Slay and say, well, he's a starter in Miami, dude. He might be corner 5 in Pittsburgh now, but he's a starter in Miami. We might as well at least consider him. We might as well, just a cherry on top. He's not by no means your trading card. You know what I mean? He's the rental that you're tossing on top to say, instead of another 7th round pick, take Darius Slay and have a good time with him. Do you think that any team would budge on that?
No, like, because the one flaw that I'm hearing in that potential argument is, if I am running the Tennessee Titans or the Miami Dolphins, or insert team that's probably not going to make the playoffs and is not in a very good overall state as an organization, what actual value do I get out of 8 weeks of a 34-year-old cornerback just teaching the young guys how to play decent football? Like, what sort of value long term do you think you can really give your secondary by bringing him in if I'm a team that's, maybe pushing for a championship, pushing for the conference championship, the Super Bowl, insert whatever there, then yeah, maybe I want to have Darius Slay around as like my fourth or fifth cornerback. He has the championship experience. He's been there. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on him. That situation makes sense. There's not a lot of teams in that realm that I'm like, ooh, they really want that guy for $10 million on their team right now. I don't think it's the situation. So I have a hard time seeing it as much as I want to envision a world with you where we can make that work. That's my one flaw that really kind of blocks me from getting there.
Yeah, look, I don't. You're spitting nothing but a solid argument, my friend. Let me ask you on the other side of it. How would you go about replacing him? Would you just go in-house with Brandon Echols and Corey Trice, hoping that Corey Trice stays healthy for a season, or would you look to find somebody new?
Man, I want to give Corey Trice the benefit of the doubt and just say that he's going to, he's going to come in here and just hit the ground running and be a contributor. Brandon Echols responds positively to getting an increased snap count. The reality of it is their secondary has not been good enough regardless, so they still need help outside of who they have available within the room. So I would like to see them add to it, whether it is, they already got out and addressed the safety position. I think they would have to add somebody who has a little bit more to give outside of the organization as well. And then in addition, step 2, give more to Corey Trice, give more to Brandon Echols. It's just a crazy, I'm not saying that this person should get more snaps in coverage, but who was not allowed a completion?
Toss his name out there. I know who you're talking about. Toss his name out there, dude. I want to hear it.
And again, this is not
I want to hear it.
Put him in pass coverage. James Pierre is not allowed a single reception so far. And meanwhile, I think he's been targeted 42. Like less than 40 times or something like that. Like it's like he's not been in a lot of pass coverage situations, but no receptions allowed. So
all hail 42, baby. All hail 42. I will say Pierre Island made a play in Dublin against the Minnesota Vikings, and it was nice. That being said, every time James Pierre goes out there for a long, extended body of reps, it quickly turns into, please put somebody else on the field for James Pierre. That would be very, very nice. I would like the Steelers to explore other options. I don't know what those other options are. I'd be even okay with a rental if you want to flip out a rental and get a 6th for Darius Slay, trade a 6th for whoever, if that's what you want to do. I think that's fine as well. I'm not going out to make anything big and crazy and splashy unless it's super young, but that's even hard to do. Like, it's hard to, who you going out to get. You're not going out to get a Sauce Gardner. You're going to go out and get you're going to end up with an equivalent to a Michael Carter II who just got traded out of New York. And that's not a guy you're hoping for. He's not a game changer on your team for the long term. I truthfully think Brandon Echols is the answer. Oh, excuse me. And then Corey Trice is the backup. And from there, you're exploring your Dante Kent and your Daryl Porter Jr. and your Beanie Bishop options, and you're hoping for the best, like that's where you're kind of going from there. And if you got to make moves after that, you're in a lot of trouble, which is where I put a damper on the possibility of a trade, is that the Steelers understand that like this, you trade him for a 6th and you don't get anything in return, and Corey Trice pulls his hamstring again in 6 weeks, you're screwed. You're in a lot of trouble. And if you, for some reason, turn this around, maybe Tariq Woolen is the name everybody wants to know. What'd you call?
If it involved swapping Darius Slay in the process, yep, absolutely. I think that would be very worthwhile. Then that at least seems somewhat plausible to me, right? Like you're swapping corners who have fallen out of favor with their respective organization, maybe are underperforming, maybe a little change of scenery is exactly what the doctor prescribed, and I think that could be, at least for the Steelers, they're going to get someone who I'd feel a little bit better about than Darius Slay right now in Tariq Woolen. So I'd make a call, but only if it included getting rid of Slay in the process.
I agree. I would make a call. I would see what's up. I'm okay. Right. 2 weeks ago, I'm not okay with looking for a corner. But when it comes to right now, today, and the future, yeah, I think I am. As long as it's cheap enough and as long as they're looking to, get rid of them for cheap, I'd be very okay with that situation. I would be. All right. It's Thursday. Let's do some bold predictions here as we prepare for Pittsburgh Steelers, Indianapolis Colts. It's been a long 2 weeks, brutal 2 weeks. Nobody's sleeping well. We're all waking up a little bit more tired than we want to be. Everybody's like excited for Sunday. Give me football, but at the same time, just like brutally upset about where life is because of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Things are not great. Maybe they'll turn around. We've got 2 bold predictions each to hopefully, unless, we have some bad ones, bring some positivity and some optimism to a game that could hopefully turn out in the Pittsburgh Steelers' favor. Jacob, I'm going to let you start with this bad boy. Hit me with one of your bold predictions.
You got it, my friend. Here's what I'm thinking. Newly acquired safety, Kyle Duggar.
Yes, sir.
He's in the building. He's at practice.
Yes, he was.
I anticipate him playing. They don't really have a choice. What? Do you have something to add?
Yeah, I do. I just one quick thing. Wherever you're going with this, they gave him a good number in 29, so I already immediately am on board with what you're going to say.
I'm glad because I like where Noah's head's at. I think that there is a lot of good juju around him arriving. I think he's going to play, and I think he is going to record an interception in his debut, and that would be my first bold prediction, that we see some immediate response and some immediate dividends from the newly acquired safety Kyle Duggar. And I am imagining, based off of your precursor about his number, that you had something maybe similar in your notebook.
Look at Kyle Duggar is about to come out here and have that first spark. Mike Williams catches a game-winning touchdown against the Washington Commanders game. That is what's going to happen. Will it carry forever? I have no idea. Will it start strong? For sure. First off, you get number 29 and not 43 or whatever gross number was next on the list. I immediately respect you 100 times more than most other safeties. They should take 21 or 22 and give it to Jabril Peppers so that they actually have a good safety duo and not somebody wearing 40 with the Guardian cap just looking real goofy out there, because there's just no need for that. It could be one or the other. It can't be both. He wants to protect his brain. Give him a good number. I like the Kyle Duggar guess, bold prediction. I'm a fan of it. I could see it happening, and I would love for it to kick off that way. I mean, look at, I was watching the Pat McAfee show earlier. No, it was yesterday. And Boston Connor, big New England Patriots guy, was saying, he said, Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar were the heart and souls of that team last year. So if that's who you got here, not great, but it's what you got to live with, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. My bold prediction number 1. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Zaire Franklin decided to do a little talking on the Pittsburgh Steelers terrible towels yesterday. Just, he started so strong. It was so good. It was a nice, respectful quote about how he knows the Steelers are going to play well. And it had a little bit of a backhanded compliment in there saying, their backs are against the wall. Like, they're 4-3, brother. Relax. And then he kept going, and it just kept moving in the wrong direction. And then he brings up the terrible towels, and now he knows all about the towels, and he's not worried about the towels, and so on and so forth. And I'll tell you this, the curse of the terrible towel is the only thing I have ever known to be true ever in my life. Love is real most of the time, and the terrible towel curse exists. Those are the 2. If I had to write 10 commandments, those are 1. And I think number 1 is the terrible towel curse. My bold predictions, this one. The Indianapolis Colts defense, they're in for a rough day. I'm thinking the Pittsburgh Steelers put up a season high on this group, 35 points. Because there is one thing you don't do is disrespect the terrible towel. And I'll tell you this, most times it happens at the end of a game or during a game, and then it comes back later in the season to bite you. It's been very few times I've seen somebody try to just mess with fate before the game like this in Zaire Franklin. I'm saying a season high for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, which is, I believe, 33 points, 33 points, correct, against the Indianapolis Colts.
Wow. That would be a fitting sort of answer. Do you recall what Zaire Franklin said last year before the Steelers and Colts played?
I know he talked smack
Said he
about
wanted
the
to snatch
fans.
some towels.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what
And
it
they
was.
they
That's
did have
what it
the
was.
last laugh. So sometimes it's a delayed reaction, this curse. Myron Cope, very humorous guy that we all love very much, and sometimes that curse takes a little bit of time to come back. So I
Dude,
would
it's a
love for
slow
that
brew.
bold prediction to come true.
It is a slow drip. It's a, what is it? A drip coffee, slow drip, slow. It's a slow ride. It's patience, delayed gratification. That's what the curse is. And let me tell you, the Steelers, they're going to be in a good spot this week. I'm not saying it's a win. I'm saying that the offense puts up a season high, which will reflect in my game prediction tomorrow. Okay. Tossing it back to you. What do you got?
I got a wild one for you, and I think it I don't even know if I can even preface it, and I know it's crazy. I got to just roll with it because it came from the gut. It came from in here.
I love the
Okay.
gut. Love the gut.
I think the Steelers finished this game with more rushing yards than the Colts. The craziest thing I've ever said on this podcast. I know.
What? What? Do you have a dream about that or something? Did you wake up and just go like, did you look at your wife and went, Steelers are going to outrush the Colts tomorrow? And she's like, how long have you been awake looking at me? Like that's
It was like
Whoa.
a That's So Raven sort of vision. No, I've been doing, my prep, my work, watching through things, getting ready for the weekend. And
yeah,
it's just what the unlikeliest of outcomes is that the Colts with Jonathan Taylor, this MVP candidate, the best running back in football right now, get outrushed by this Steelers team that looks disjointed. They can't stop the run on defense. But what if, man? What if? I just want to throw a crazy bold prediction out there, and it's just like, this is the game that it happens. Why not, man? Would I bet on this? No.
I'm
No.
gonna.
I'd call me a ding dong right now. But that's the point of bold predictions, I think, and I wanted to embody that right now. So we'll see. We'll see.
I've already made the bet. I won last week. On the Steelers over. I'm scalding hot right now. Wow, crazy. I'm telling you, I'm riding with you. I love it. I would shout out to Jaylen Warren, man. Absolute stud. I love it so much. Here's my bold prediction on this one. There is too much talk for the Steelers right now about how negative and bad things are, especially on the defensive side of the football. And now it's everybody's a waste of money, and this is it. And I agree. I lead it. I'll walk right to the front of the pack. You know what I mean? And just say, you need somebody to man this. You need somebody to walk into the flames of the Mike Tomlin, TA flame, whatever fire that there is. I got it. I'll walk with you. I think it changes. I think this week it changes. It's a bold prediction. You know what I mean? It's not something that I'm sitting here saying when this happens, I'm going to say, I told you so. No. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, I'm not saying comes alive. The names come alive. I think TJ has a sack. I think Jalen has a sack or an interception or something. I think Nick Herbig gets involved. I even think Cam gets involved. I'm saying the Steelers stars, the big ones, make plays, and I'm talking back to at least 4 sacks in this game and a turnover against the Colts. Again, not saying it's a win, just saying they're back. We'll come up with wins or losses tomorrow.
Wow. I mean, that's the biggest confidence boost these stars of the Steelers could get. I'd much prefer that than the rushing one that I gave, just to be like, just my preference, because they need TJ Watt to come alive. They need Cam Hayward to come alive. My goodness gracious, that would turn the season around in a heartbeat.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at it right now saying, And again, we'll pick plays, or we'll pick score predictions tomorrow. I'm feeling good about that one. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, that's everything on our agenda here. On the other side of a quick break, we're going to start answering all your questions. Toss them in the chat. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind all Steelers talk comes black and gold apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
All righty. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Can't thank you guys enough. If you got questions, toss them in the chat. Before we get rolling here, hit that like and subscribe button. Can't thank you guys enough for that one. We're pretty close to 55,000 subscribers, which is pretty nuts. And tomorrow we will be giving away the sweatshirt, which is also pretty awesome. And then when we hit 60,000, which is, a little over 5,000 away, we may or may not have a signed jersey to give away. And I'm going to be honest, a little bummed out on the timing of giving this jersey away, but it's now in great faith because who it is, well, I think it hopefully adds a little good karma to a recovery process as we keep it trucking. Let's start with Eddie the first. Afternoon, boys. I fly out tomorrow morning for the Berg. So excited. This trip is over 40 years in the making. No way I'm not shedding a few tears. Hope to see some of the pack here. Our pack there. Here we go. Shout out to Eddie the first, man. I hope you have the greatest trip ever, my friend. I hope everything is awesome. Go enjoy it. Hit the strip. Hit the stadium early. Go see the Hall of Honor. Hit some tailgates. Do it all, brother. I hope you have the best time ever here. And he had to ask, what's the first place I get to eat when I land in Pittsburgh? I think 40 years in the make. This is my exception here. Most times I don't give this recommendation. I think 40 years in the making, the first place you have to go is Permanis. I think 40 years in the making, it changes it.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I think you gotta. It's clear that there's like it's the Pittsburgh sports, the black and gold runs deep in Eddie the Great here. So you got to, what fuels that blood? It's Permani Brothers. So I get it. I get it. You got to try it. It might not be the most inspired, beautiful, delicious thing you eat in Pittsburgh because there's lots of incredible food in the city. But man, you're going to be like, I didn't know you could fit that much stuff between bread.
Yeah, I didn't realize so many carbs could come out of a sandwich. That was not a grilled cheese. And then maybe you just walk right over to the yard and you get more grilled cheese. Maybe that's what you do. You top the Permani sandwich. That would be my suggestion. Go to the one in the Strip District. It's the original one. That's where you should start your and then hit the Strip. You know what I mean? While you're there, hit the Strip. Don't know what time you land, but it's bumping on Saturday and Sunday mornings, especially with a game week. I hope you enjoy it, my friend. Truly deserved. Hope you enjoy it. Starboy, your what's up, Steelers / AST Nation. My guy. Big question here. A win or loss on Sunday? A win or a loss? It's early for the score predictions here, brother. It is early for the score predictions. It's very early for this. It's all right. I got to toss it out here. Okay. I got to toss it out without giving a score prediction. We got to see what it is. We have to see what it is before we do this. We're going to pick the spread. Okay. We're going to go against or for the spread. That's all we're going to do. We're not going to do anything crazy. You know what I mean? We're going to keep it light. The Steelers are 3-point underdogs, which I am not going to lie to you is pretty small. Definitely pretty small. 3-point underdogs. Just pick for or against the spread.
Wow. Wow. I am I am damn near stumpied. Let's say I'm gonna say 4.
No. I mean, pick like, are you
I wanna
picking,
go-
would you pick the Steelers in the spread or would you pick the
Yes.
Colts in the spread? You'd pick the
I gotta
Steelers.
pick the Steelers in the spread right now. I'm going.
Okay.
It's oh gosh.
I think I'm going to go Steelers too. I'm going to go Steelers too. I'm taking the +3 on the Steelers and I'm feeling okay about it. I'm feeling okay about it.
Yeah. I think I don't know if that'll change tomorrow. That probably will change tomorrow, but for today.
I agree. I want to answer Leroy's, who tossed it in the chat yesterday as soon as we got off. So I want to make sure that you get a shout out here. Our boy Leroy, who's the better duo? TJ or Bud? TJ or Alex Highsmith? Or TJ and Nick Herbig? I think there's an easy answer to this one.
Go for it. Hit me.
It's TJ Alex Highsmith. So there's a significant gap, to be honest with you, because Bud is second because Herbig hasn't done enough yet. But TJ and Bud had half of a good season together. And it was a great half of a good season. Shout out to them. Bud should have made a Pro Bowl. You know what I mean? A year and a half, I'll say. Good year and a half. And then he got paid in Tennessee, and I'm glad he got kind of paid in Tennessee. I don't think he got all that money, but he should have at least got some of it. So shout out to the guy. But I think it's Alex Highsmith. Then I think it's a gap. Then I think it's Bud. And then I think it's Nick Herbig.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the Herbig TJ pairing has to be last. Just least amount of reps and time together, actually being the starters. Yeah, you're right. It was an easy answer, Alex and TJ. But I mean, they had a great half a season stretch. Bud and TJ did back in the day. That was
it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. The day Bud got hurt was the first time I ever wrote a story during a game that completely came back to backfire on me, because I wrote a story about how Bud Dupree should be like, the Steelers have to sign Bud Dupree. They have to extend Bud Dupree. They have to break every rule and extend him right now. And then he got hurt like 6 seconds after I hit submit. That went awesome. That was sick. That was a good time. So shout out my guy. Shout out to Leroy, bro. Appreciate you. It's Juju. Random question. Where do you rank TJ all time in edge rushers? Oh,
whoa.
That's so hard. You got to really come up with a list here. I think in Steelers edge rushers, he's number 1. I think in Steelers edge rushers, he's the greatest of all time. The only issue I have with that is that you could put Kevin Green up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could put Jason Gilden up there or Gideon up there. You could put James Harrison up there, obviously, and they all won Super Bowls. And I think that plays a pretty significant role into this.
Yeah. TJ certainly, it's a tough question to answer in this moment, because TJ's getting, a lot of flack. He's catching a lot of criticism, and despite all of that, I think the question is, I mean, if it's only the Steelers, like, I guess it has to be TJ Watt, because Kevin Green didn't do he didn't play his entire career with the Steelers. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud here.
No, you have to. This is a deep question. This is a deep question. I think it's tough. Do you have a list up? Did you pull a list up?
I'm looking up. Yeah, I'm seeing which ones aren't just like from my mom's basement.com. I'm just gonna throw some names out here.
Yeah.
From a Fox Sports top 10 edge rushers list. You tell me if you think TJ is better.
Okay.
Jason Taylor.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's so right off the bat, so tough. Right off the bat, so tough. I think I'm going Jason Taylor. Like, there's nothing there. Oh my gosh. That's so keep going. That one might be a draw.
Okay. DeMarcus Ware.
I think he's better than DeMarcus Ware.
Okay. Terrell Suggs.
I think he's better than Terrell Suggs.
Okay. I don't know who this is, to be quite honest, and I might get a lot of crap for this, but Chris Dolman.
I don't know who that is either.
Okay, fair enough. Kevin Green overall career.
Yeah, I don't think he's better than Kevin Green overall.
I was agreed. Michael Strahan.
I think he's better than Michael Strahan. I think he's I do. What did he do that he broke Michael Strahan's record? I think Michael Strahan tied it. He broke it. And Strahan got an easy sack. I would say Strahan's got him.
You?
Yeah. I think if Strahan does have him in that conversation, the argument is that he did it in the playoffs. Like he had those performances in the playoffs. So I could see that argument.
Julius Peppers.
No, he's not better than Julius Peppers.
Okay, yeah. The top 3, according to Fox Sports, are Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, and Bruce Smith. And that's a good list.
I would say he's top 10 all time. I think there's an argument for top 10 all time.
Now, what about his brother?
I don't think his brother's an edge rusher. I think his brother's like a little bit of everything. Yeah, like a defensive he's like I put him and Aaron Donald in like the same category, like they played across the line, could play everywhere. I would just put them as like defensive linemen, but I think he's like top 5, we'd have to go through that list, but I think he's top 5. Easy.
It's a crazy list.
It's a great question. ND Joe, hear me out. What about Cam Taylor-Britt as a replacement for Slay? I know we would have to give much more than Slay to get him, but it would pay off. My only issue, I like Cam Taylor-Britt. My only issue with it is you got to pay a Bengals tax. And I don't know if I'm willing to pay a Bengals tax right now. I don't think the timing works out to pay a Bengals tax. I think for me, that's where I draw the line of like, I don't know if that one fits the bill.
Yeah, you can't. No Tiger tax. Can't be doing that. I think. Yeah, that's an improvement. That is an upgrade. That would be a better cornerback for sure. You just have to look elsewhere. It can't be within the division. This isn't the Browns and the Bengals making moves. This is the Steelers, and they will not make moves within the division. So I love the idea if he was outside of the AFC North for sure.
That's exactly it. If he was outside of the AFC North and you could get him for cheap, yes, I'm all about it. But you got to go up because of it. Shout out to Mac, Tyreek Woolen again. What do you think a trade for Woolen would cost?
Darius Slay, and you swap washing machines. I don't think it would take too much. I think you could probably because you can't even give up much for. I don't think Tariq Woolen is worth giving up much more. I would be like, hey, if you want to get rid of him, you can have Darius Slay. If not, cut him. We'll pick him up when you do. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think if you're going straight, I'd give a 5th round pick trades for Tariq Woolen, and maybe I'm comfortable with that. But at that point, like I gotta find a place for Slay. There's just too much going on there, and I don't like it. But I don't dislike it. Michael, my bold prediction, TJ shows up with 2 sacks and a forced fumble to seal the game, 30-26 Steelers by 4. That would match everything that I said was going to happen, except for the win, which I will get to tomorrow. I'm not going to reveal it or unreveal it now, but I like this bold prediction. I'm a fan.
I'm hoping for this to happen. I am not holding my breath that it will, but I'm certainly hoping it does.
I agree. I like that one. Brody, sup boys, love the program. Are we going to get a Beanie Bishop sighting this year? Who will be a surprise breakout player this Sunday and why? # here we go. I don't think it bums me out to say, because I know people, I wish I could be a brighter spot here, and give some more positive news on the Beanie Bishop front, but I don't think that the Steelers are going to have a Beanie Bishop sighting this year. I don't think it's likely. Maybe if you get rid of Darius Slay, you don't have a replacement option and things just go crazy. Sure. But I don't think it's going to happen. Unless you feel otherwise, but I just don't think Beanie makes his way onto the active roster this year.
I unfortunately agree with you. I don't see it. I think they would much rather look outside of the organization. I think they like Beanie Bishop specifically for his practice squad availability, and that's really about it. And I agree with you in the sense of, I hate being such a bummer about it, because I know that he became this sort of folk hero, cult hero last year with his performances, and understandably so. I don't, the 4 interceptions you can't take away. You also can't dismiss the fact that he is just not trusted by the coaching staff to go out there and deliver what they want out of their NFL defense, which, we've sat here and criticized the defense's performance here for days and weeks on end now, but just kind of goes to show you what they think of what he can bring to that group. So, and I'm not the one making that call. That would be TA who makes the calls on defense. Wink.
Yes. I agree. Who will be the breakout player on Sunday?
Kyle Duggar.
Yeah, your prediction would be Kyle Duggar, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be Kyle Duggar. I'm going Roman, dude. I think Roman has a bigger game than what he had against the Packers. I'm thinking close to 100 yards for good old Roman Wilson. Something's happening.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everyone already forgot that he had 70 some receiving yards.
That's because it came in
right?
garbage time, like a touchdown that shouldn't have happened. I think this one counts and is real and contributes towards a closer game. That's what I'm hoping for.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be awesome. Starboy, -3.5 Colts. Sorry, not sorry. Team has to play 3 complainer games. Complete complainers? Complete games. Offensive, defense, special teams for me to believe in them again. In Warren, we trust. Shout out, dude. In Warren, in Jalen Warren all day. They do, though. This has to be a complete game for the Pittsburgh Steelers to put this one away. I don't know if my confidence is there yet. We'll see what happens. TK, why is Muth on the trade block but not Jonnu? Because Jonnu's wide receiver 2, bro. Because Jonnu's wide receiver 2. We all heard this. I don't know. Because if you look at them stat wise, Pat's got a better season than Jonnu does. Like, it just doesn't, to be honest with you, it doesn't make sense to me. I think the Jonnu project, and I like Jonnu Smith, and I think Jonnu Smith is not being utilized. I'm not putting this on Jonnu. I think offensive and defensive are 2 totally different situations. It's like saying, oh, the Nick Herbig project isn't working out, even though he's not playing. Like, nope, different situation. Then saying like Darius Slay and Juan Thornhill aren't working out. I mean, like, if you're not going to utilize them, why are you holding on to your 29-year-old tight end over your 25-year-old tight end that you just signed to a deal? Like, that one doesn't make sense to me.
It makes no sense. He's targeted more though, Noah. He has 29 targets on the year. And, if you get rid of Jonnu, think for a second before you say such foolish things. If you get rid of Jonnu, who's going to catch the ball 3 yards away from the line of scrimmage on second down or third down? You know what I mean? Who's going to do that now? Ben Skoranek? Oh my goodness.
Dude, it's not like Ben or Pat is just, I don't know, a zone killer or something and sits so well in those 3 to 5 yard outs. If they had somebody like that, I could see a good, easy replacement, but
yeah, they don't.
They just don't have that. You know what I mean? Connor Hayward sucks at doing that. Sucks. He's terrible. You want to know who's awful at catching 3-yard passes? Darnell Washington. That guy sucks at catching 3-yard. It's Spencer Anderson. I'm saying that's what it is. That's what it is. So crazy. It's a good argument. It's a really good argument to have, to be honest. Captain Sparky, excuse me. Can we all agree that we need to stop playing Renegade just until our defense plays better? It is hyping the other team up more than the Steelers. I think the Renegades always okay, so this, I don't know if this is how it is for every team. I have no idea. But I walk by pit practice every day going to the facility, and every day they're playing some lousy song that another college plays on repeat every day. Every single day. And the Steelers aren't doing that because they're like the only team in the NFL that actually has that. I think Phillies last year was like Big X the plug. Like, that's just what they played, and then they just did well, and you were like, I could see why that's working. I'm getting behind this 100%. I just think they're prepared for it. I don't disagree with this, to be honest. I don't.
I don't think it's an intimidation factor or something like that. I think most teams are, unafraid of the momentum shifting when that song plays in Acrisure Stadium. And so But I think it's misattributing how the momentum swings. It's because the crowd's awesome. Listen, like if you've been in Acrisure Stadium when it gets actually loud during Renegade, as the sort of like as the team is like maybe coming back and you can feel the momentum changing on the field and stuff like that. Like there's plenty. We probably each have several examples that we could list off, and everyone listening and watching too as well. But like it's because what's happening on the field is turning the momentum, not because Sticks just rocks so hard in Acrisure Stadium. Like it's because Troy Polamalu was out there ready to make a turnover. It's because TJ Watt was finding ways to get home, and now they had no answer for him, and so you could feel that the defense was just moving, and that is what gets the momentum shifting. That's what will get Renegade back up to that intimidating factor once again. It's about the defense underachieving mostly for me. So while I agree with the disappointment, I think let's be very clear about where who's letting down the Renegade. It's not the fans.
Do you think, no, it's definitely not the fans. Do you think there are people out there that like see Sticks in concert and they're like, you suck, you're the reason the Steelers suck?
Yes,
I think that's a real possibility. I came downstairs 3 years into my relationship with my wife, and she was bumping Renegade while cleaning the kitchen, and I just started like bumping along with it, and I was like, you getting ready for Sunday? And she looked at me so dumbfounded. She was like, what's Sunday? I was like, the Steelers game. She's like, what does that have to do with anything right now? And I had to explain to her, she's from the city of Pittsburgh, guys. She grew up here. She grew up in Pittsburgh. Had no idea. All right, let's keep it trucking here. Chris, what defensive scheme changes do you expect? I expect none. Like none.
None.
I don't expect any. There's not been any word of schematic changes. There have not been any proof of schematic. I expect none to happen. You want to know what I expect? I expect Brandon Eccles to start on the outside. That's my one expectation.
That's lovely. It's a lovely, lovely schematic change. No, there's not going to be any. That's why they got Kyle Duggar, so they can continue to, not play good defense. I think there's little expectations to anticipate, or there's little to anticipate in terms of changes coming for the defensive scheme. I think they're just going to try. The goal, I think, within the Steelers locker room and within the coaching staff, the organization, is to how do we find answers, and unleash this defense that we have been cooking up since the summer. It's not where do we pivot from here. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. It's Juju. Okay, bias aside, TJ or Myles Garrett all time? This answer is, in my opinion, TJ Watt. Here's where I differ here. If you put Myles Garrett on a great team throughout his career, I think there's a shot it's Myles Garrett. But it's TJ Watt. TJ Watt should have been 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? Like, he got snubbed twice. And even Aaron Donald admitted it the one year. He's like, yeah, I really thought that the guy in Pittsburgh was going to win. It's like, yeah, so did the rest of the world, actually. Thanks. I would say it's TJ. I think if Myles had a better situation, there's a possibility that it would be Myles.
Yes, I certainly can see that hypothetical. In the meantime, I don't think it is a biased thing to say that TJ Watt is the better player all time. He leads in every statistical category that you would measure this by, and the only difference is Defensive Player of the Year awards. And while that is when it comes to I guess getting to Canton, it's a huge part of his resume, but aside from that, I don't think it is the defining factor. Now, if Myles Garrett manages to win a Super Bowl and TJ Watt doesn't, I mean, my goodness gracious, then maybe this conversation genuinely changes. But until then, it's TJ Watt.
It's TJ Watt. I agree. Asante Samuel, not playing right now. I would guess that Asante got some bad news on his neck injury and is probably taking the season off. That's my expectation. But he's like not, from my understanding, he's not even like available for teams to sign right now. So I don't think that conversation is out there where we sit right now. Here's a good one, though. What about Noah Igbo, the guy from the Dolphins? who may not be on the Dolphins, who is still, this guy has been playing in the NFL for like 6 years. He's like 23 years old. It's insane, actually, how young he is.
Why do they let this child into the NFL?
I'm not joking. It's so crazy how long. Every time he's 25 years old, and he was drafted in 2020, which means he was 20 years old when he was drafted. That's insanity. This guy's been playing forever.
He's on the Commanders.
He's on the Commanders now. I wouldn't be opposed to this one. I think he's talented. I think he's very talented. I don't think he's ever gotten like a real big opportunity in his NFL career on a good team. I actually wouldn't be opposed to this one. I wouldn't be opposed. I think it's a good shot in the dark on a young guy that you could get for literally nothing.
Yeah, I mean, why not? 7 passes defended last year. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad.
I don't think he's bad at all. 5'11". I don't know a ton about him, so I won't talk out of my butt. The Steelers need defensive back depth, players who could play a lot of snaps. If Noah, oh my goodness, great.
You could try, but you're not going to try right. You know what I'm saying? You could just say Noah. You could just say Noah.
I think he's an intriguing option.
Yeah, I like him as well. Chris, Joey Porter Jr. needs a pep talk from senior to play better. He gets a lot of those, I would imagine. He gets a lot of them, to be honest. I don't know what my expectations are for Joey on Sunday. I'm hoping for the best. I'm always hoping for the best. Well, Michael Pittman Jr. is, if he's going to play well against anybody, it's going to be another physical wide receiver. That's the test you want. Michael Pittman Jr.'s physical, maybe it plays to a scheme. We'll see what happens. Halfway through 25, what are our biggest draft needs for 26 by round? With and without A-Rod, I'm calling corner, nose, wide receiver, quarterback, guard, free safety. Damn, we need everything. My changes to this list are ruling out the talent level of anything. If you're just going like a straight needs list, quarterback, corner, wide receiver, I'm saying free safety, then I'm saying nose tackle, and then I'm saying guard, because I think Y.A. Black is a feasible nose tackle potentially. So I think that gives you at least something to try if you aren't able to get somebody early. I think Spencer Anderson deserves a shot to start next season, and you don't have a safety next year, so you need a safety.
I agree with that. I don't feel nose tackle needs to be in the top 3 of my priorities. I think maybe I just have more belief in Y.A. Black in the position moving forward, and I really want to see him and Derek Harmon getting more, like just taking over that defensive line starting next year, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Quarterback, of course, cornerback, free safety, left guard, I think is how I go. And then, defensive line in general, sure. Yeah. Actually, wide receiver, I think, should go in between there as well. So, man, Justin is bang on when he says we need everything.
Yeah. It's all positions. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Duffy Buckets. I read Ian Rappaport or Jordan Schultz report last night, and apparently we aren't looking for everything available on defense at the trade deadline. I think the Steelers are looking for all options. I think the Steelers are very unsatisfied with this team right now. Do I think they're going to get all options? No. Do I think that they're looking at corner options and we're looking at safety options? Yes. I don't think they're necessarily looking at defensive tackle options, but I wouldn't be surprised if Omar Khan called the Tennessee Titans calling about Calvin Ridley and just tossed it. Well, what about this guy, Jeffrey Simmons? He sucks. Would you give him his first 6th? You know what I mean? Just to see what happens and could see where it goes. But I don't expect a defensive trade to happen. I do think the Steelers are making the same amount of phone calls for defense as they are wide receiver. I just think it's easier to find a wide receiver right now.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of do feel like there's going to be another defensive trade first, And then I think the wide receiver trade is going to happen closer to the deadline. I think that's just going to be such a murky mess for the final few days leading up to it.
Yeah. Yes. I think this Sunday plays a lot because if they get smoked, Monday is calls. That's all it is. Starboy, Steelers should sign me 150-pound edge rusher to a 1-game contract because we need help. Look at that. I don't know if I'm putting you in an edge rusher, but in the picnic pack football team here, flag football team, I think 150 pounds, we might put you at a little running back, a little corner out there. See what's up. A little Manuel Forbes out on the side. I love it. I led my state in sacks, 13 in high school, and was a top 20, could be 10 in tackles. That's okay. All right. We're changing some things here. Maybe an athletic edge rusher off the side here. Mm-hmm. I can see it happening. I love where we're going here. David, should we trade Slay, Freiermuth, Siamalu, and Highsmith for draft capital for a rebuild? I think even with these guys out, our Super Bowl probability doesn't change. Love Muth, though.
There's only 2 of those players that I think you could actually get draft capital for, and that's Freiermuth and Highsmith. I don't think Siamalu's like I don't think it's a.
I think Siamalu's the other way around. Like I think Siamalu could be you trade him to a team who needs a guard for a Super Bowl run.
Fair point. I guess I am just being a little hard on his performance so far this season. I'm hesitant to say a team would be in need of him.
There's got to be somebody out there who's rocking somebody worse than, their Calvin Anderson is starting right now. You know what I mean? And they're going, Isaac's not that bad. I'm not saying Isaac's the best, but he's better than what we got. Let's give up a sixth.
The same thing I said, like to that end, the same reasoning and logic, applies to him and Slay then. Like if someone wants to offer you a 6th round pick for this player, you better take that. Like you better.
Yes.
Otherwise, what are you doing? Because these players won't be on your team next year for nothing.
Yep.
And there's no guarantee you even, go on this run that you've been claiming you could go on this year. So that makes a ton of sense for me. Love Freiermuth. Don't really want to see him or Highsmith be traded ideally, but I think they have value around the league, and I think they could get them something in return. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but I don't anticipate any of that happening, to be perfectly clear as well.
No, I mean, I think I wouldn't be stunned if some of it did, but I agree. I don't anticipate it. Lord knows. I know this isn't Madden, but I would move Joey Porter Jr. to strong safety, put Ramsey between free and outside, bring Beanie back up, and go get Rick Woolen. It's a good question on Joey Porter. You think he'd play better at safety?
How could he hold people there?
That'd be the issue. Like, you know what I mean? Like you take away the one,
he's
like negative. He's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. He's Ricky Bobby from Talladega Night. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't know if he could. There's something really appealing about, someone with his length and athleticism being back there in that strong safety position. I don't know, because he's not. I think he's an okay tackler at times for a cornerback. Don't think I want that player really involved in any sort of run defense more heavily. Not sure if I love the fact that, he wouldn't be able to play press man coverage, which is maybe the only thing he's good at because he's so physical. I don't know. I don't think he could do it.
I'd be intrigued. I think I agree with you. You got to just figure out how to play corner, but you're not wrong. It'd be intriguing. Do you think Ike has anything left in the tank?
Ike Taylor?
If you ask Ike, he'll tell you he'd go man up, AJ Brown for 3 quarters right now. That's what he tell you. That's what he tell you. But there ain't no chance. There ain't no chance. Carl Spackler, hey Noah, you got enough calls for another call-in show Saturday or hanging till next Wednesday? Don't have enough calls for a call-in show, but if I have time, I do have an idea for your note. So keep an eye out for it, maybe on the channel, and I will, I'll keep you posted, my friend. I'll keep you posted. Lindsay, do you guys think because we have some big names on defense that we are playing for themselves and stats seem like they are not a cohesive unit? No. I could say no.
I
Because
mean, no
go ahead.
stats.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so you're missing. They're missing the key. If they are playing for stats, this is the worst stat chasing group in the history of the NFL. Like, they should make a 30 for 30 on the group that wanted to play for stats who couldn't. That's what they should do. Shout out. So the answer is, I like where you come from, but the answer is no. Carl,
they did what no team had ever done before. Miss 50% of their tackles coming this fall.
The 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's just like Jalen Ramsey being like, I had an incentive of 90 tackles. I finished with 7. I don't even know how it happened. I don't even know how it happened. Carl Spackler, bold prediction. Steelers put up a convincing win versus the Colts only to get mollywopped by the Chargers next week. That would be crazy. I don't think the Chargers have convinced me they're good yet. The Steelers haven't either, but the Chargers haven't.
Which team has convinced you more, the Colts or the Chargers?
The Colts. And I don't care about they didn't play anybody. Jonathan Taylor looks like the next coming of Christ. Okay. I don't care, man. You don't have to beat anybody for me to tell you still look crazy good. The Chargers to me they've had one good game, just one. And it came on the heels of 2 guys who I am not convinced are going to have multiple good games this season.
Fair. All right. Fair enough.
Renegade Minka, what's your confidence in Trice? He looked lost last year in the Chiefs game. Patiently optimistic. That's my level in Corey Trice. Is like, I'm hopeful, but I'm not convinced. I wouldn't sit up here and say, oh, the Steelers are going to put up, you know what I mean? Corey Trice is going to come up with like 7 sacks or 7 interceptions this season. I wouldn't say that he's going to turn into the big giant starter that he said he was going to. I'm not going to sit here and say I think he stinks. I think he's got potential. I would just like to see that potential on tape.
I'm like bordering on, this like hopeful confidence versus, maybe it's just not there. And so I would say it's probably between like a 3.5, a 4 out of 10 in terms of my confidence level in him. Like I think there's quickly room for it to bump up, quickly room for the Steelers to gain a ton of confidence in him very quickly. But I think there's also the chance that he just comes in here and he's just another guy who is not super effective, is not able to make a difference, and wouldn't shock me if that happens. That's for sure.
Yeah, that would stink. Nick Kiri, do you think that last offseason, we could have only given up 1 first round pick for Ramsey Smith? Would you do it? No, I would have. I think moving on from Minka was a bold decision, but I don't think and I think Minka on this defense would have been awesome. But I would have been kicking the Steelers way harder for saying, you traded a first round pick for Jalen Ramsey. What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Then trading for Minka, who's expensive and hasn't been putting up the numbers that you've been looking for,
Yeah, I think part of what made the Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith trade such a win for the Steelers, even at this juncture, is the fact that they didn't have to give up a ton of draft capital. They didn't have to give up a first round pick to get that player. They were able to clear out one of their most expensive players on defense in the process of bringing in other players. So it wasn't just about, that they brought in the fix on defense and the gadget on offense. It was about how the money in and money out worked so well as the Steelers came out ahead salary cap wise and all of that because the NFL is a fake salary cap. So, there's that. And then I just don't think I would have preferred that the Steelers give up a first round draft pick to make that happen. I much preferred the route that they went.
I agree. I agree. Keeping it trucking. We'll go through some house cleaning stuff here. My guys, I head out to Pittsburgh Saturday from Indy, bringing a couple Colts fans with me for the game, badly needing the Steelers win for the 6-hour drive back. Here we go, Steelers. I hope and pray that you get a good 6-hour ride back. A good one. Hoping for the best, my friend. AWOL, bang, bang. It's my birthday, Steelers gang. Shout out my guy. Happy birthday. Hope you enjoy it. Keeping it trucking here. Dylan, predict what wide receiver we trade for. My answer is a very easy, and it's feeling more and more likely just from a little bit of conversations that I'm having here, a little bit of conversations I'm having there, that the guy that's going to end up in Pittsburgh is Jacoby Myers.
No. I thought you were going to say Jalen Waddle.
No.
Jacoby
It's
Myers.
just they got their eyes on him. They're feeling good about him. They are. Super Saiyan Swag, how many turnovers do you think the Steelers defense gets this week? I think it's going to be a big bounce back game. My prediction is 2 turnovers.
I will say 1.
Love it.
And it's just Kyle Duggar's interception, baby.
What are the odds? What are the chances Kyle Duggar plays on Sunday? Just according to my understanding and some reports floating around out there as well, is that he is expected to play on Sunday. So Kyle Duggar hopping on a moving train. We'll see what happens. Renee, question, Noah and Jacob, how would you go against the Colts from a defensive perspective?
Hope and pray.
Yeah, like you all know what I'm doing. If we're gonna be really honest, I'm manning up, which has not worked at all this season, and saying Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson. You have Peyton Wilson, welcome to the sideline. Cole Holcomb, the guy who stops the run, maybe activating Malik Harrison and saying, you know what you guys do? You just run it Jonathan Taylor every single time. It doesn't. I don't care if it's a pass play. Just go tackle him. Like whatever you got to do. That's how I would approach it. Honestly,
I think that's very, very fair. Very fair. I think the only thing they really have to do, they have to do so much.
Yeah, I was going to say a couple of things.
They have to do about 14 million things to shut down Daniel Jones. But the only thing that you have to do to start it, in my opinion, is you have to find a creative way to sort of rattle Daniel Jones. And I think they have to be, if the Steelers are ever going to adjust and be creative in how they rush the passer, this would be the weekend to do it, because you have Daniel Jones who is playing out of his mind. But I think you have to find a way. You know, Patrick Queen has had a couple of times where he's been able to rush the quarterback, couple of nice hits. Got to get TJ Watt home somehow. I think there's going to be a lot of man-to-man coverage to start, and I think that needs to be Jalen Ramsey playing the slot when that happens, and then you just take your chances on the outside because you need to just kind of lock down Tyler Warren, their big tight end. So if you can kind of start to do that, you might have a little bit of success, and the rest you just genuinely hope and pray that whoever's loose in coverage can pick up someone else, and that Daniel Jones doesn't just decide to flee the pocket and take off downfield.
I agree. Lord knows. Will Beanie ever see the field again? I don't think in Pittsburgh. I don't think it's going to be in Pittsburgh. I don't think Beanie does see the field in Pittsburgh, unfortunately. And we're going to finish it off with Nate Moore. Why would Ridley be an option for Tennessee if they have a young quarterback? Wouldn't they want to keep as many pieces around Ward as possible? The Titans are a different situation. Like, yeah, most times you do, but he's 31 years old. He's on a big contract, and the Titans don't have any pieces. So they're just trying to build capital to get somewhere. Plus, there's probably a part of Calvin Ridley asking, hey, can I please be traded to a contender? You know what I mean? Like, I think I deserve to get an opportunity to play for a contender. And most times teams listen to that. So if there's the riding of hey, this is our best guy, we need to do this. Okay. But the Titans are probably just looking at it going, we could use the draft capital more than we could use a wide receiver for Cam Ward. That's where we're at.
Yeah. The season's done. So let's just focus on 2026 in Tennessee, I think is kind of the mindset.
Yeah. Starboy 51. We'll finish it off with you here. How have you guys noticed how the Steelers flip-flop? 1 week they stop the run, but can't stop the pass. The next week is vice versa. Yes. For the last 7 years, I've noticed it every week. It's a lot of It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The Steelers, they're the most overcorrecting team, I think, in NFL history. Like, I think that's it's plain and simple. I think that's the problem. It doesn't make any sense to me. It is a classic Terrell Austin situation here. Used to be a Keith Butler situation. It's wild how they just couldn't figure, you know what I mean? They've landed the only two guys in NFL history who have the same issue. Who would have thought?
Crazy.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? All right. With that said, guys, we're heading out here. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast. Please, before you head out of here, hit that like and subscribe button. It does wonders for us. And like I said, when we get to 60, we got a little bit of a giveaway going on here. One that I think you guys will be pretty excited about. As always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. And with that said, we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.